Hello, this is Alchemist2, and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently, I went to my local cinema and saw Crazy Stupid Love, which is, strangely enough, actually produced and directed by Steve Carell, and Steve Carell himself stars in it, along with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone and Josh Groban. And bizarrely enough, Josh Groban really doesn't resemble himself. I kept looking at him on the screen and I thought, he's really not that handsome as he typically is, and I didn't get that. Because usually, I mean, Josh Groban is dead sexy hot, so I was really shocked by that. But as far as movies go, um, I rather enjoyed this rom-com. I thought that it was really well written, and it had a lot of plot twists that I wasn't expecting, especially near the denouement of the film. It was something that you thought, well, why didn't you tell us that earlier? But I thought it was a good little addendum later on. There were some moments that really had me just roaring with laughter, and other moments where I was overclamped. And yeah, I admit I did cry near the end of the film. I won't tell you what happens, but it's a cautionary tale, and it's also a story about determination and true romance, if I can say that without being cliche. Uh, Fighting for love. That's another thing that the movie's about. And the title itself just, it's interesting how love is akin to an addiction. Because you have the same comforting effects of dopamine and what is it? Same, I think it's dopamine, and I forget what the cuddly hormone is. I think it's oxytocin or something. But basically, these two hormones are what are activated. I think it's in the pineal gland when somebody is in love. It's been a while since I've actually read on this or studied it, but I did know a little bit about what goes on in the adrenal gland when I was in anatomy and physiology. It is rather intriguing how our bodies work. But anyway, the title, Crazy Stupid Love, it reveals a lot about how love actually works, and how just inane it can be, and how it makes us insane. And to be honest with you, I'm going to give Steve his props, because I think that he did a really great job directing this film and producing his own character, Cal. And it's a very intriguing story of sorts, and it's really cute. And Cal and Emily, or M as he calls her, in the beginning, she declares that she wants a divorce from him. And of course, this completely shocks Cal right to the quick. And one thing I noticed right away is Cal was wearing the same shoes that I've worn for practically a whole lifetime. 407s, yeah, imagine that. Yeah, it has good taste, whatever. But I just wanted to mention that just because I thought it was pretty neat. Other than that, I noticed that the soundtrack was different. There was one scene in the bar near the end that there's a song in that. If anybody can tell me what that is, it's kind of a trancey background number. I really like that, and I would like to use it for one of my own films, but I'm getting kind of off track. Sorry. I like to think ahead about my projects, but as I was saying before, the movie itself, I would only wager about 3 stars, and I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's a really terrific movie, and maybe some of the elements of it might be a little bit predictable, but it's a good effort on Steve's part, and I think that he was just flexing his directing and acting muscle. He plays the typical role that he does, other than we see him in a position that we never thought we would, and it's quite amusing. Comes back to bite him in the tokus later, but yeah, I won't go into that. It's really really funny. It's actually one of my favorite scenes in the whole film, but I'm still laughing about it. But it's good. It's for comedy. That's always a good mark of a comedy if you're still laughing about it. Um, as far as movies are concerned, I really think that Date Night is absolutely one of my favorite rom-coms of all time, because it's not just a rom-com, but it's an adventure, an action adventure. And I thought, yes, finally you're fusing something that I can't really tolerate too well with something I actually can watch and like and get a big jolt from. And there's adrenaline in it, and I enjoy the chase scenes. They're just actually, I know I mentioned this before, but Date Night has one of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen in a movie since the Bourne Identity trilogy. And yeah, that's goes without saying. Um, uh, but Crazy Stupid Love, I just thought it was a unique movie and very different, and a very enjoyable film. And if you like Steve Carell, then yeah, I would definitely check it out, because I'm sure you'll just absolutely adore it, because Steve Carell is just cute as ever. I just want to pinch his little cheeks, and I just want to hug him to death. He probably wouldn't like that, but I don't care. He's handsome. But yeah, uh, Steve Carell. He is just a brilliant actor, just funny, and I love him. And he's extremely uh, gifted, and I feel that this is a really a grand effort on his part, and kudos to him. 2 thumbs up, mark of approval from Alchemist 2. I really don't know what else to say about the film itself, other than it was very, very enjoyable, and I really liked it, to be honest with you. I don't think it was the best movie ever made, but I wasn't bored for one moment, and I did have a lot of good belly laughs, and it's just got that good wit that Carell has, and I enjoy that. Um, the plot is very intriguing, and then another one of my favorite scenes involves Cal, Bernie, David. Who, well, you get to learn about David in the duration of the film. I'm not going to go into detail about David, but and also you learn about another guy, kind of a ladies' man, a swinger named Jacob, and I like to call him Jake, because Jake the Snake. Well, we learn that Jake the Snake has more redeemable qualities later on in the film, which you get to see him kind of. He's molded into a kind of a different persona. Um, but he's persona non grata with Cal, and I'm not going to say why that is, because if I do, it'll just ruin an entire plot point, and that's me locking my lips, throwing away the key, and digging a hole and burying it. But that's probably about the gist of the film itself. I just I thought it was very good, and I thought it was very enjoyable, and um, unexpectedly I was able to get some emotion out of it, and it's just I'm very glad that Steve did this, because it's an unusual film, and it stands out on its own, though there are some parts of it that you would expect out of a rom-com, but it's not one of those rom-coms that you're going to have belly laughs with. It's very serious, and it deals with the subject that's not altogether talked about too much, which is divorce and how it affects kids especially. And I thought this was really interesting, to be honest with you, because a lot of kids suffer in divorces, and a lot of people just don't like talking about it because they know it's true. But the ending is sort of left up in the air, and you're left to your own conclusions about what happens. But still, I think it's a really, um, it's a good movie. I would say it's in the middle. It's not mediocre, but it's good. It's good, and it's enjoyable. So that's my mark of a movie that has done its job and that is um, terrific. So I give it, like I said, 3 stars, 2 thumbs up.